Dante Alighieri was born in Florence in 1265. He was banished from his home in 1302. It is from this exile and the loss of his love Beatrice that Dante found the inspiration for what would go down as one of literature's best poems. Perhaps one of the most renowned and treasured pieces of literature from the 1300s is the Divine Comedy written by Dante Alighieri. He began this piece in 1308 and completed it in 1320, just a year before his death. It is largely considered to be a preeminent work within Italian literature. The Divine Comedy is divided into three different sections: Inferno, Purgatory, and Paradise. The narrative follows the journey of Dante through the Inferno, Purgatory, and Paradise while being led by the Roman poet Virgil. The narrative allows Dante to discuss the political, ethical, and religious issues of his time while still incorporating himself into the storyline. One thing that sets Dante's work apart from others was that it was written in the Italian vernacular, making it something that many people could read and relate to, even if they didn't come from noble backgrounds. Dante's journey into the afterlife spans from the night before Good Friday to the Wednesday after Easter. Dante explains that the comedy is such because the subject matter at the beginning is horrible and foul as being hell, but at the close it is desirable and pleasing as being paradise. Within the narrative, Dante is given two guides: Virgil, a well-known Roman poet, who leads him through the Inferno and Purgatory, and Beatrice, his love interest, who shows him paradise. The poem allowed Dante to create not only a fictional story, but one that involved a great deal of his personal life, as he deals with exile and calamity. It also offers an opportunity for which he can propose suggestions to solve Italy's other woes. During the time that Dante wrote the Divine Comedy, Italy had not yet become one unified country. The unification of Italy is an ideal that Dante speaks of, but was not reached until 1861. While Dante was creating his Divine Comedy, Florence, Italy was experiencing some monumental political and social strife that can be identified throughout his work. The political turmoil is depicted through his character's exile as well as the competing elements of the church and the empire. Dante was able to extract these ideas from his own life and utilize them in his poetry. Structurally, the Divine Comedy consists of 100 cantos, which are grouped together into three sections along with the terza rima rhyme scheme. The divine number 3 is present throughout the entire piece of literature. Dante's comedy differs from Homer's Odyssey and Virgil's Aeneid because rather than placing a land of the dead in the middle of the poem, he begins his poem with it in the Inferno. This is to represent the spiritual act of dying in the world and follows the Christian rather than classic structure. While in the Inferno, Dante speaks of the 9 levels of hell: limbo, lascivious, gluttons, spendthrifts, wrathful, heretics, violent, fraudulent, and treacherous. Satan is within the 9th level of hell, eating traitors. Purgatory is where Dante discusses the poem's true moral standings. Here, Dante faces the fact that life is a pilgrimage as set up by the ideals of Christianity, and he learns that he must reject the promises of the mortal world after learning the harmful ways of his former alliances. This section entertains the most philosophical thought, as Dante comes into contact with poets such as Sordello and painters like Guenzili and Cavalcante. Finally, in Paradise, Dante fulfills his heroic role. Within this section, feelings of exaltation and identification are all tied up as the poem comes to a close and finishes the poem's configuration of anticipation and retrospection. Encounters with characters like Dante's great-great-grandfather and S.S. Francis bring the poem to a close. Dante's A Divine Comedy is often seen as an allegory about his journey through life and to salvation. Throughout the poem, Dante advocates to a strictly moral lifestyle that adheres to medieval Catholic theology. Dante's Divine Comedy not only impacted his era, but many eras to follow. Even writers of modern times such as Robert Pinsky, Michael Palma, and Mary Jo Bang have made renditions of various parts of the comedy in hopes of recreating its brilliance. Overall, Dante's Divine Comedy was a turning point for literature. It brought together theology and real-world observations while showcasing both literal and allegorical meanings. It is in his brilliant composition of words that certified Dante as a genius poet of the Florentine community and the historical realms of literature.